Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and this week we are going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1153, The Birth of Loki. So please like and subscribe if you have not. I'm Akainu Fanboy. The other guy is Geboss. Leave your comments below on your thoughts on this chapter and the thoughts on our review. So, Yamato, again, I'm just like, dude, I'm sick of it.
Volume 37.
Crappy arc and then crappy cover story. So, but we do have this, I will say, I did enjoy this chapter. We don't really get too much, because I know we were talking about this last week. We don't really get too much in terms of what the world's like at this time. Let's see. Is this about 70 years? No, what was it? How many years before?
Like 105.
105. Okay. Yeah, it got 70 from the chapter, I think. Okay. So 105 before the story, and the only thing we really see mentioned is he talks about the world government getting in their way a bit, but that's about it. We don't really get any more details in terms of like the admiral system. The warlord system isn't established, or the Diakos, or anything like that. So it's more or less just stuck in the Elbath area right here.
Yeah, we don't get a wider context. It's not like Kuma's backstory where we're going all over the world seeing different things. I mean, we kind of do, but it's not as relevant as Kuma's was.
Yeah, I mean, so there's so many kingdoms now, which is kind of crazy. I think this is the first time we've seen one kingdom, if I remember correctly.
Honestly, I don't even keep track of like these side islands anymore.
Yeah, it's a new location, just with a quick little Google search. So anyways, we're here, and so we see Loki's father with the young giant pirates here too. So it's pretty cool to see everybody with Bragi and Dory and everything like that too. And then we see, well, actually Harudin's mom right here, and I thought her introduction was so interesting here because I thought we were gonna kind of go with this trope of, oh, humanity's evil, they're terrible, and blah blah blah, like look what they're doing, they even enslave poor giants and everything. And then she's like, no, like King Harald, like this is awesome, like they gave me a life and I'm super grateful, and how could you, like, this is terrible of you to do.
yeah we definitely get to see the differences between Harald's two love interests. I wouldn't even say love interest for Estrid, but Ida is definitely an interesting character, like you said. And it's interesting because you see like her introduction, she's behind the bars and everything, and she has horns in there, but the rest of the we see that she doesn't have horns, so it's obviously fake. And I wonder if that's leading into like perception of the giants being like, I guess, somewhat demonic, you know?
Because I think there's the irony symbolism that's at play here, where Harudin's mother looks like a monster, and then without the horn, she kind of looks like a plain person, basically, you know, and a slave. But then she kind of gives birth to like a pretty, you know, a good person like Harudin and everything. And then Loki, you know, mother is like whatever, like flawless and rich and all this stuff, and then it turns out like a monster is like born through that and everything like that too. So it's an interesting contrast. I did like the contrast a lot, and I did like Harald's, you know, like, you know, I did like their back and forth with his first, you know, wife and everything. It was just, I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was like pretty touching, and they learned the architecture and they get the spices, and he changes as a character and everything like that too. So I don't know, for me personally, I kind of like King Harald's character a bit more than like even Odin so far. I know that sounds like crazy to me, but I just kind of enjoy this one more. Yeah, it's just kind of more to the point, I guess. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that this is more abridged. Like Odin was explained over what, like 20 chapters, that whole backstory, and it looks like this is only going to be maybe 5. I mean, we could eat our words depending on how long it actually goes on, but yeah, like you said, I think it feels more to the point.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like also just with Haruden, this if you were to tell me back at Dressrosa, this character would get a lot more prominence in the story, and would be like an essential aspect of the story. I'd be like, yeah, you're kind of out of your mind. You know, this is just some fodder giant that Luffy one shotted. And I'm wondering, like, if we were to watch Dressrosa after this flashback, if his scenes would like hit more. You know?
Well, I think that's just Oda in a nutshell, his writing style.
Yeah, so right. So basically, you know, they have something similar, like a similar dynamic of kind of like Odin and
Toki.
Sorry, Hiyori. Sorry,
Toki.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I was getting mixed up. Okay. So you get to see this like cool, heartwarming aspect. I like it. You know, it's just kind of like nice. I wouldn't say world building, but you know, you just get more characterization for a lot of these characters, and you know, they have their first child, and you know, it's just a really heartwarming thing. And one thing I will notice too, he was actually here for Haruden's birth, but he wasn't here for Loki's birth.
Yeah. I will say that when like Harald, we get to see the change in his philosophy from Ida. I'm gonna keep saying Ida because of My Hero. But we see the philosophy, and I mean, we've gone back and forth with this, with the peace-loving Elbaf versus the warrior culture of Elbaf. And we get to see where this kind of originates here, from Ida's influence on Haruden, making him open up to outside influences. So it is interesting, because I know we've talked and been like, oh yeah, they should be a warrior culture and everything, but it kind of puts into perspective where he's coming from, where his ideals stem from, and it's not totally a bad thing.
Yeah, because they're in a fish. So they were friends with the humans, and then they're in a fisherman village when Haruden's there. And I think this is like a big theme that Oda makes a lot too, is the ability for people to, because like King Harald complains about the government later, like trying to get away and not letting countries decide for themselves. But that's kind of like a theme. It's like freedom for nations to like trade and to share cultures and inventions with each other. Like that's a big theme in One Piece, so they're kind of really drawing that up right here, you know. And obviously the fishmen had that barrier too, and things like that too, and even humans in One Piece had that barrier a lot of the time, you know. I mean, I don't think we can really call the Gorosei humans at this point, you know. So I thought that like that was a really cool theme. And then when we get into Estra, I think
I just immediately hated her.
Yeah. So one thing I thought that was interesting, she said like, I study geomancy. And you get with her character, we don't. I mean, I don't know. Is geomancy like a thing in real life, really, or like was it actually?
I mean,
okay, yeah, it's fortune telling. Yeah.
Well, I read the TCB scans, and it was a different translation, but to me it sounds like feng shui. Like you need to, because they said, oh, we need to close the windows because the spirit's escaping into the east. And it's like, okay, you're just some crazy chick.
And, yeah, I'd say the blood is pure and ancient.
Yeah.
Not like so I think like how I kind of interpret maybe like a deeper meaning. I know sometimes Oda gets into this. I think he's critiquing certain parents who like kind of like this idea where we're just this is like a type of eugenics in a way, where they're trying to plan and optimize making the perfect human being, basically. You know, which I kind of find interesting, you know. And then because she's like, oh, you know, we're gonna do all this stuff, we're gonna do all this feng shui stuff so I can create like the optimal human. And then like it's something beautiful, and then I'll give it my love, you know. Wow, which is like a complete different contrast from his first wife and things like that too. And it doesn't really say like why he marries her though.
Esther, well, it says they have to keep the bloodline pure, and she's from a pure bloodline, so it says she's the only one worthy of being the queen. So officially it's she's the queen, but it's more like an arranged marriage type of thing.
And I think there's a lot of overlap here with Sanji actually as well, but like inverse, because when she sees the baby, she's like horrified, throws it out and everything, just like because it looks evil and terrible. But really, like Judge was doing the eugenics thing too with his kids a lot, right? Where, but he was looking more for strength, not like a beauty in a way.
Yeah.
So he has like that's, but obviously the mother in Sanji's case like saves his life, and gives him a gift greater than strength and power, which is like his innocence and his goodness, basically, and then with Estrid's case right here, it's like, no, like I want you to look exteriorly beautiful, but I think Oda's trying to set up this premise like Loki's actually a good person too, in a similar way, maybe like Sanji is as well, but it's just like rejected and hated by their parents.
Yeah. So would you say this is a Straw Hat worthy flashback so far compared to the other Straw Hats, or?
I liked Loki more than Yamato, so, and Carrot, and who were the other candidates?
I mean,
Caesar Clown.
To be honest, Carrot barely had a backstory.
Yeah. No dreams have been established so far. It's tragic. I wouldn't say it's insanely tragic. Okay, so far it is, but not like really bad.
She threw him off of the giant tree into the underworld.
I agree.
Yeah, they climbed back up.
I mean, he dusted it off, but like, no, I mean, like, it sucks. It's terrible. It's basically infanticide. So she did like try to kill her kid, so actually I think in that sense she is worse than Judge.
Yeah.
Right, because Judge's whole thing was like, yeah, I can't really kill you, but if you decide to leave, it's kind of different. Just please never tell anyone I'm associated with you.
Yeah.
And this is like, she's like, no, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Loki, I will say Sanji had a harder childhood more than Loki so far, from what we've seen, just because of the abuse that was over and over again, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you touched on it earlier. Like, this might be, this could be something with the ancient giants, or it could, like Loki's appearance, it could be something to do with the ancient giants, or it has something to do with like the evilness of Estrid, or she's beautiful on the outside but ugly on the inside, and he's kind of like a reflection of that. But yeah, I wasn't expecting the eyes to look like that, because we've seen them covered up so far, and maybe that's why he has them covered up, to kind of to hide that part of himself. It's kind of like a Katakuri in that way.
Yeah, very, very good connection. I like that. And what I find interesting is that one of her prophecies ended up correct, right? But it's interesting, with all of her other planning, it didn't turn out the way she wanted to. So maybe like her fortune telling or planning it came to fruition, but in the sense that he was good interiorly but not exteriorly. I'd have to look back at the other predictions. I think it was something to the effect of just like, to ensure the fortunes of when on Earth are sent in His Majesty's direction, also inform the scullery maids that from this day forward, the king and I will be using the fine silver to eat all of our meals. So just stuff like that. We must close all the windows at once, or good luck's getting away. It's interesting. I think there's like a lot of themes that can be said in here for sure. Obviously he wasn't happy with her, and it was kind of funny, like how his first wife is like, she's like, oh, like I'm excited for Haruto to meet his brother, and everything. It seems like she has more affection for Loki than her own mother did. So, or his own mother. So I don't know. I actually enjoyed the chapter a lot.
I like the contrast between the two mothers. And it kind of shows how it is nurture kind of does play a role in development, because I don't think that Loki would be the way he is if he would grow up like in a loving household. But it does seem like he is recognized by Haruden, or not Haruden, Harald, as a true son.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm curious to see how their relationship develops.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Estrid is still alive somewhere, because she said like she's going back to her village after she gave birth. So
yeah, she said it fell ill too.
Yeah. Oh, did it say that?
Yeah. If you go under where Loki's climbing, you see the panel Queen Estrid fell ill.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm liking Haruden more and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think pretty quickly I'm gonna end up liking Loki a lot more than Odin if I had to guess. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a good feeling about that. I already think his backstory is more interesting to me than Odin's already too. Because I think Odin's story wasn't really sad or tragic until the end.
I mean, it was interesting with everyone involved in it, like yes. Whitebeard and Roger and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's not a consequence of the character of Odin.
Yeah,
that was just like contextual.
Yeah. I will say, going back to when I was talking about the horns before, that maybe Harald getting rid of his horns has to do with Ida's influence. Because she faked having horns and then she took them off. And I'm wondering if it might have to do something too with possibly being, if he takes them off, it could show like he has no allegiance to the ancient giants, and like he rejects everything that Estrid did, being part of that bloodline. So I think there's going to be more symbolism to him getting rid of his horns.
Yeah, definitely. It is funny. It seems like the strength that Loki got came from his mom in a way, because Haruden, he's strong, but he's not like to Loki's level for sure, so.
I mean,
but I think that
people have calculated out the amount of force his punch did when he punched Mach Weiss into the sky. It was ridiculous. Like, if you look at the calculations.
Oh my gosh, I need to look at it. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a feat, but it's still Mach freaking Weiss. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like Loki, I feel like Loki that'd be a little easier for him to accomplish that, I will say, like, it is kind of maybe like an interesting parallel case, so maybe a little bit of a reach here, but I just kind of thought of this one. Haruden was trying to get Luffy's brother's fruit, and it's kind of funny how, like, in a way, like, Haruden has like this brotherhood division too that kind of Luffy had a little bit with like Sabo and Ace as well too. So I just kind of find it an interesting dynamic, and I think what will end up happening is like Haruden is going to have a better unity with his brother, which I think is going to lead to him to have a little bit of a power creep as well, and which would benefit Luffy as well with the fleet, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens with Loki. I could see a world where Loki dies at the end of this arc too.
I mean, honestly, I was thinking that Loki could possibly be called the true ruler of Elbaf. Because there was the whole thing with when Emu took over Dorian Broggy, he said that proclaim yourselves the kings and the leaders of Elbaf. So if Loki takes that up, that could explain why he's on the mural, why that's how he could join Luffy without being part of the crew. So that's what I think.
Yeah, No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but overall, enjoyed the chapter.
I like the 8-legged horse.
Yes, it's very powerful.
It's based on the Odin's Norse Odin.
I see.
It's based on his horse, so I wonder if that's gonna play into anything, because again, Oda's just throwing Nordic stuff in, like with Loki, but with Loki he doesn't really play on his trickster side too much at the moment. So I'm wondering if he's just doing this because he thought it was cool, or if there's going to be more deeper meanings to everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Well, any more closing thoughts?
No, that's it. Break next week.
Right.
Boo. But yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Please like and subscribe. If you're not, leave a comment below, and we will see you guys all soon. Peace.
See ya.